Our next guest is a former Fed vice chair. He's now a CNBC contributor. Roger Ferguson joins us now. It's good to see you. Welcome to our show.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
What do you make of this whole Lisa Cook story?
Well, look, I think you put it in the right context. This is really a story about trying to undo what has been 90 years of Fed independence. What most people don't know is 90 years ago, in 1935, the Congress restructured the Fed. It removed executive authority, executive branch authority, by taking the Secretary of the Treasury and the Controller of the Currency out of the monetary policy discussion, made a number of other technical changes, and the whole goal was to give the Fed independence in doing this very important thing, which is setting monetary policy. And now, for the first time, we're seeing a direct effort to undermine that, it seems to me.
Let me ask you to respond to a editorial today by the Wall Street Journal editorial board, which asked the question, what if Trump runs the Federal Reserve? They say, quote, his firing of Lisa Cook shows he wants to put monetary policy under his personal control. He may succeed, but the country will live to regret it. They go on to say, quote, the criminal referral is a threat to other Fed governors. Cut rates or else. Is that how you see it?
I see it roughly the same way. So the big picture is that the strength of the dollar, the trust in U.S. Treasuries as a safe haven investment, all of those things depend very much on an independent Fed. If you look around the world, the move has been towards independent central banks because experience has shown that an independent central bank setting monetary policy without influence from the executive branch has proven to be, for long periods of time, the best way to create both secure and strong markets and a great, strong sense of confidence in the underlying currency. So I think the editorial that you've just quoted feels to me as though it has exactly right.
Do you think that any part of the mechanism of the Fed needs to be retooled, rethought, reorganized in any way, shape, or form?
Look, that's a very broad question. One can always think about modernizing any institution. However, you have to be careful about timing, cost, process for doing all of that. The Fed itself has been rethinking its monetary policy framework. Chair Powell announced some pretty important changes to the monetary policy framework last week in Jackson Hole. So no one should come into any institution and say this is pristine, picture perfect, nothing could possibly change. Having said that, the main goal and objective is to maintain an independent central bank. And anything that threatens that, I think, as the editorial says, is a long-term threat to the health and viability of the U.S. dollar, the U.S. Treasury as a safe haven asset, and ultimately the citizens of the country. Remember, the Fed is the only institution by law that is focused on maintaining purchasing power by keeping inflation under control. No other part of the government has that obligation, and all citizens, I think, have now come to recognize that inflation is an insidious tax. They want to avoid having that fall into partisan hands, I believe. And so it's not just markets and sophisticated folks such as those watching your show, but it's average Americans, low and moderate income Americans that also depend, though they may not know it, depend very directly on the Fed's independence and the control of monetary policy to keep inflation at bay.